my favorite topic, food.
Oh, love talking about food. And expects him to give you love in return.
Man's job, they're always not enough. They have
Man's
to,
job.
have to cook the meat.
Interesting.
Interesting. And wait,
Can you give me bread? Can you give me sour
Yeah.
cream? Might be worth implementing in the household.
try.
And I'm like, the fridge is here. The best recipe of Borsch, which is mine.
Like, who can eat it?
Картопляні трикутники. It's time for our lunch, isn't
Yeah,
it?
there is not enough poppy seeds.
Yeah. Hello. We would like to welcome you to the next episode of our podcast, You.
And I, Ukrainian New Identity.
With this podcast, we will help you
And us.
to reinvent Ukrainian culture, traditions, and history.
And to see the history through the eyes of ordinary Ukrainians.
We will also highlight similarities and differences between the Ukrainian and British culture. My name is Varenyky. I was born in Kiev and I've been living in the UK for more than 20 years.
My name is Maria Kush. I'm a refugee from Sumy. So, Zhenya, today my favorite topic, food.
Oh, love talking about food.
Yeah.
And especially getting a bit hungry.
Yeah, me too.
Right, but we can do this podcast and then go and have a huge lunch. Yes, let's do it. Right, so what do you usually... Let's start with morning. So in the morning, first of all, who cooks breakfast in your household?
Usually it was mom or grandmother. Yeah, and for breakfast we had some maybe eggs, maybe some sandwiches with cheese, and something light. It could be tvarog, or
Like cottage cheese?
cottage cheese with it could be sweet or salty because it depends how you like it, and tea or coffee.
Okay, but it's interesting. Did your father or grandfather never cook a breakfast?
You ask about breakfast? No, they don't. But for the lunch and the supper, yes, my grandfather and my father, they really enjoy to cook meat. So they always said, like, this is the man. They have
Man's job.
Man's job. They have to cook the meat. They know how to do it properly, especially shashlik.
Yeah.
And,
Barbecue. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting belief. I spoke actually with my friend the other day. She comes from Uzbekistan, and they said that in Uzbekistan, plov can only be cooked by a man in restaurants and other places, but at home, a woman is supposed to cook plov.
Oh.
And actually, yesterday was, the funny thing they told me about Thursday is that Thursday, I can't remember what it's called in Uzbek tradition, but it's a day when a woman cooks plov for her man and expects him to give her love in return.
Oh,
Interesting.
interesting.
Might be worth implementing in the
try.
household. Anyway, right, I see. And what about your family now? Who cooks at home? Is it again sort of your husband does meat and you do other dishes? How does it work?
I try, yeah. I really saw this kind of part in my son that he wants to cook meat and he really into this. And once he created even our family tradition, we have pancake Sunday.
Oh, right.
Every Sunday we make pancakes together, and I teach him basically everything what I know how to cook, and his favorite chicken wings, he knows how to do it with a proper sauce.
Barbecue chicken wings.
Yeah. And it's really cool because I think probably everyone have to know how to cook. It's just from our generation and previous generation, they have this particular thing that the woman have to cook.
There are some things women do and some things men do, right?
Yeah. But I'm not really into it. I try to be half.
Okay. So
but
equality.
for my son,
So it's gender equality. You're moving towards gender equality.
And in our family, I would say it's like that. 50-50.
Right.
And what about you?
Well, talking about when I was a child, and for example, in summer we went to our house in the village and spent time with grandparents. My grandmother always cooked. I don't think I've ever seen my grandfather cooking, so he liked to make pickles. So he would be in charge on various pickles like gherkins and things like this. He would measure everything with his little scales and so on. So he was controlling the quality. But I never saw him cooking. I don't think he ever cooked. So it was always my grandmother who cooked. At home, I think in our family, it was my mom to start with. And then after my sister's death, she was in depression for a long time. So my father took over quite a lot. But also I loved cooking. So I learned to cook when I was a small child. And basically I did a lot of cooking. So because I loved cooking in my own family, with my ex-husband, I was the only person who cooked. But then in my current relationship, I guess we are moving towards 50-50, but I still feel I'm doing a bit more. But sometimes in the evening there would be a question like, oh, what are we having for dinner today? I'm like, I don't know, I'm busy. I'm out today. I will be late. So please make your own dinner and make sure to cook for everyone else in the household. So I don't think there is still equality on this, but I know in Ukraine it's much worse because I've got quite a lot of great male friends. They're fantastic people. I absolutely love them. But then when I ask them question, who cooks in the family, they're like, what? Of course my wife. But don't you make breakfast sometimes? No, I make bed. And it's like, that's all he provides for the family, of course. And he makes bed. Everything else is responsibility of his wife, looking after children, cooking food, cleaning, and so on. So I find it a bit shocking. And with Ukrainian women coming here and being joined by husbands and sons, sometimes I come to see my Ukrainian friends, and I'm in shock how women move around cooking, serving food, and men sit
and wait.
Can you give me bread? Can you give me sour cream? And I'm like, the fridge is here.
Why can walk.
Can't you walk and open the fridge and get what you want? Your wife or your mom cooked already for you. So I find it really shocking, but when you come to someone else's house, it's not my place to teach them. So I just feel uncomfortable, really uncomfortable, and I leave. But I'm talking about breakfast. Let's go to more positive. So for breakfast, I like sometimes eggs. And comparing to my grandmother's, I remember she often cooked eggs for breakfast, but there was lots of sala. She would like the frying pan. She would put lots of sala and wait until, sala is, for those who don't know, it's pork fat, raw pork fat. She would melt and wait until it melts down and there is lots of fat. And then she would add eggs and fry until, there is like crispy, proper crispy sort of
like
stuff. And we would eat it, and we enjoyed it, and I loved it. I wouldn't be able to eat it now. So for me, it's like a drop of oil, sunflower oil or olive oil is more than enough to make my eggs or scrambled eggs or any other eggs. But I love asparagus on Sunday. I love making my asparagus, poached egg, hollandaise sauce, but that's a special treat. It doesn't happen too often because hollandaise sauce has a lot of butter, so not very good for my figure. But I guess, and coffee, of course. I need 2 cups of coffee, so it must be cappuccino, flat white, or latte to wake up, sitting in the garden, listening to birds singing.
It's interesting that before I came to UK, I don't know why I'm thinking that in UK the British breakfast is something like
porridge. No? Oat porridge. Porridge.
Yeah, and then I found out that this is like egg, beans, and meat. I was like, what?
Well, we had lots of those anecdotes, funny stories when you what's today for breakfast, sir? Овсянка, so porridge, and what's for lunch? Meatballs made of porridge, or something like that, and it's always something made of oats and porridge. But shall we have a look at a few traditional breakfast options for Ukrainian people, like something, because in the beginning, a long time ago, I thought porridge is just kasha, so like any grains cooked in milk, for example, or water. But then actually I found out porridge is just oats, cooked oats. So everything else is something else, and we have lots of buckwheat with milk, but I don't know whether you cooked in your family. So shall we have a look at various traditional breakfast options for Ukrainian people?
What does a Ukrainian breakfast look like? Historically, whether you were a nobleman, a merchant, or a farmer, breakfast was built around the same local ingredients: eggs, dairy products, bread, and seasonal produce. A traditional Ukrainian breakfast might include fried eggs, omelettes with herbs, milk porridge made from buckwheat, millet, or semolina, and a plate of fresh cucumbers, tomatoes, or whatever fruit was in season. One of the most beloved breakfast dishes is syrnyky, soft pancakes made from farmer's cheese, lightly fried and served with sour cream, honey, or jam. Bread is essential too. Unlike the soft white sandwich bread common in Britain, Ukrainians often eat dense rye or dark wheat bread. Many grew up with simple fried bread, toasted on one side in butter or sunflower oil and sprinkled with salt. And while modern Ukrainians may now enjoy croissants, cereal, or avocado toast, a breakfast of eggs, bread, sour cream, fresh vegetables, and strong tea or coffee would still feel perfectly familiar in homes across the country today.
Makes me even hungrier. Yeah.
Me too. What about lunch?
Lunch. Well, actually, before we start talking about lunch, do you believe in the saying that you should, what was it? You should eat your breakfast, you should share your lunch.
To half, yeah.
Yeah,
And
you should
leave-
have your lunch with your friend
And
leave
give
your
them-
dinner to an enemy or something like this.
Yeah.
Do you
I
follow
believe it.
this rule?
Yeah, I believe it. I am just my body. I try to, found my way to eat healthy, and I found out that the more I eat, the more I feel tired, and I even try to, healthy food and stuff like that. But the less I have meals in a day, the more energetic I am. And I found out, that breakfast, lunch, and maybe like a really light evening meal gives me much more bigger energy from the morning than if I will have, I don't know, party meal with a piece of lamb the evening. And it's interesting that just remind myself that we talk with my son that he brings to school his lunchbox.
Let's go. Okay, no, carry on.
Yeah. Or, for example, they have a school meal provided from the government, which is like some could be
Very unhealthy option.
yes, like a
Pizza
sandwich,
also.
pizza,
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like which you can grab and eat without normal.
Oh, okay, without knives and forks.
Yeah.
Okay.
And do you remember our school breakfast and lunches? It have to be first. It have to be soup.
I don't remember breakfast. Did we have breakfast?
Yes,
I think
if-
we may have had, but I don't think I lived very close to the school, and so I would just basically come straight for the lesson. I wouldn't come any earlier to have breakfast. So that's
if
probably
you come
yeah.
earlier, you have a breakfast. For the lunch, we always have some kind of soup.
Yeah, definitely. So there would be like a starter in a shape like Borsch. Could be Borsch.
Yeah.
What else? Probably chicken soup, maybe with
chicken
sort of
soup,
noodles or something like this.
Beans, гороховый,
Pea soup.
pea soup, and
I actually have very good recipe for pea soup for
yeah,
you.
me too.
Mm.
Was one of my favorite. Then always it could be some potato or maybe гречка.
Yeah, buckwheat
with
or
meat.
mash, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, potato mash.
Котлета. Котлeta, with
Which
something
don't think
with
it's
meat.
not cutlet. Okay, so you know the difference between
No.
cutlet. Okay, so in English there is a word cutlet. Cutlet is a piece of meat. It's like a chop
Uh-huh.
with a piece of bone. So it's like
No.
you cut through. Yeah. And I guess probably catleta is called after this word, but meaning changed completely. So the only
Yeah.
parallel is that it's made of meat,
Yeah.
right? So although you can have vegetarian catleta, but I wouldn't count them as catleta. But it's like catleta is a meat patty fried
Mhm.
on a frying pan. So
Yeah.
it's like burger, but
Yeah.
not quite.
Yeah, something. And or fish. And then afterwards you will have some delicious булочка.
Pie,
Pie.
little pie.
With
Compote always,
compote.
yeah, which is fruit drink. You remember,
Yes.
not compote how it's served here.
and like you always can have more.
Come for seconds, yeah.
And how disappointed I am now because I have to provide some lunch for my son. And I remember that I did some kind of like normal lunch like we did with котлета and гречка. And the teacher called me and says, no, it have to be something what he can
Really?
grab and eat without
That
knife. and
shocks
fork.
me. I didn't have this experience with my daughters
Yeah.
because when they were young and they went to primary school, I gave them lunch boxes. They didn't like to eat. They were used to Ukrainian food,
Mhm.
so they didn't want to eat whatever food was offered at school. But they would always take something like котлета with a bit of mash or
Mhm.
buckwheat or pasta and vegetables and a drink, maybe a little yogurt or fruit.
Mhm.
And the difference, and the teachers never complained.
Mhm.
It was absolutely fine. I gave them cutlery as well. But I know that my older one didn't mind how other children reacted to what she had, because everyone would come with a sandwich and crisps. Yeah. So she didn't really care. So she ate her food, she enjoyed it, and she always wanted the food she loved.
Interesting that in our culture we have to have this at least somewhere on the back of my mind. My son have to eat first and second, you know, and here nobody have this tradition to have a proper soup.
Oh,
And
you
then proper meal.
can, but
Yeah, but
proper
it's
soup is not what we call proper soup, yeah? So it's a mashed soup, and when you go, if you go to a cafe or restaurant, you can get, obviously, some pureed soup, followed by a sandwich, or you wouldn't have a proper, or you will have a baguette with some salad on the side. So you can.
But it's not the way how we were raised, that this is how it should be. You know, you can't eat only soup. It's not a meal, my mom says.
Yeah.
You know,
And sandwiches is not a meal as well.
at all. And then for the dinner, we used to have some rice,
Yeah.
maybe with fish or with salad,
Oh.
chicken, something light, not heavy meat. And yeah, probably that's it. We don't have a lot of food in between, and my mom always, you know, don't like to give me some snacks or some candies, whatever. And interesting that we have in our family tradition to make varenyky.
Mhm.
Yes, and it have to be all family. And my grandmother told me a story that from her childhood, her grandparents, so my grandparents, they did for the winter time big мешки,
Sacks.
big sacks of пельмени. So for the winter time, they did it, put it outside.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they didn't have freezers.
Yeah, and for the supper, for the evening meal, they took like a savok,
Yeah, scoop.
scoop of pельмени, and boil it for all the family. And since probably her childhood, she implemented this tradition to our family. But we did not пельмени, we did varenyky with cherries.
Ah,
Oh,
nice.
that's my favorite.
Shall we share the recipe with our listeners?
Let's do it.
If Italy has ravioli and China has dumplings, Ukraine has varenyky. Food historians believe the idea of filled dough travelled to Eastern Europe along ancient trade routes centuries ago. Varenyky are made from a soft dough of flour, water, and sometimes egg, rolled thin and wrapped around a filling before being boiled. Sweet varenyky are especially popular in summer. They can be filled with sour cherries, strawberries, blackcurrants, or sweet farmer's cheese. Savoury varieties are just as beloved, particularly those filled with potato, mushrooms, or stewed cabbage. After boiling, varenyky are traditionally served with melted butter or a generous spoonful of sour cream. But in Ukraine, varenyky are more than food. They are a family tradition. Generations gather around the table to prepare them together, and there is an art to it. Ukrainians rarely seal varenyky any old way. The edges are carefully pinched into decorative patterns, turning each dumpling into a small piece of craftsmanship. Simple ingredients, timeless comfort, and one of Ukraine's most beloved dishes.
So we wake up at the early morning, and my grandma did the dough, and my grandfather
Rolls it out.
rolls it out and took the cup to make
shapes, round shapes.
And me and my brother, we took the spoon of sugar and 2 or 3 cherries
Without
and-
stones, or with stones?
No,
without
without.
stones.
and we make it like really beautiful way to not just
Yeah, not just sort of press it together, but make
Yeah,
it in a beautiful
yes.
pattern. Yeah.
and all of us have their own shape how we did, and the most beautiful did my grandmother, and I tried to make the same, and now I know how to do it and I make it perfectly. And my grandfather always did one special. he can put black pepper inside. And he said,
Whoever gets it.
that lucky.
Okay.
Yeah, and and we always like, kind of waiting when it's boiled, and then usually we eat it with just butter. But a lot of my friends now like it with a sauce cream,
Sour cream.
sour cream. And even now, I feel like this is something what gives me this Ukrainian vibe of our solo, because it's my grandparents. It's always related to, like you said, cottage house and all this summer adventure with potatoes and stuff like that.
Yeah. I do love varenyky with cherries. But I prefer varenyky with savory filling. So I really like with potatoes and mushrooms. I love with sour cabbage and other options as well. Meat works nicely too. And if you make your own varenyky, why don't you put in comments what's your favorite filling?
Yeah.
That would be fascinating for us to know, and we may try and make varenyky your way. So share our recipes with you.
And also, when I've been in China first time, I saw that actually this tradition to make dumplings, it's from China.
Yeah, it comes from China.
Yeah, and they not boil it. They
steam.
steam it.
They steam them.
And most of it is sweet, so it's like a dessert. It's not meat, and you can find it pink, green, purple. They paint them and make the shape of a smiley face or something like this. It's funny because I didn't realize that it comes from China. So maybe you have some tradition with food at your family.
Well, we always have soup for the Ukrainian part of our family, not including the kids though. We will say older generation, my father, my cousin, my nephew and we like having soup for lunch, but I would only eat soup. So I wouldn't have the second. This sort of soup is not a starter, it's a proper meal for me. If I have it with a piece of bread, that's more than enough. Sometimes without bread as well. And I love making borsch. And I love with this sour. So my way of eating borsch, apart from my recipe is the best, of course, is the most delicious. And my older daughter who loves my borsch will second it 100%. So I like my borsch to be quite thick. And it's like very bright, intense color with lots of beetroot. So it's sweet and sour and delicious. And my daughter and we can have lots of garlic. You know how you put it in salt and then you eat. I can eat a whole garlic head with a bowl of borsch, which doesn't happen very often because I haven't a lot of interpreting and other stuff. So I'm waiting until that day when I don't need to go out and I can enjoy a bowl of borsch, hot, lovely, with garlic, fresh garlic, and then I like a piece of bread, sourdough bread. If I can get rye sourdough, that's even better. And I put sour cream on the top of the bread. So I don't put it inside of the borsch. And then I have a bit of garlic, a bit of bread with sour cream, and a spoonful of borsch, and that's just paradise.
Yeah, we need to share a few recipes of borsch.
Yes, we do. Let's do it now. But also, do you know that quite recently making borsch started being a very unique, or was acknowledged by UNESCO as a unique tradition, and is now protected by UNESCO. So we can tell a little bit more about this to our listeners and share the best recipe of borsch, which is mine.
No dish is more closely associated with Ukraine than borscht. In 2022, the culture of Ukrainian borscht cooking was added to UNESCO's list of intangible cultural heritage, recognizing its importance not just as food, but as a part of Ukrainian identity. There is no single recipe. Some historians estimate there are dozens of regional varieties, well over 50, and possibly more than 100 family versions passed down through generations. The most famous is red borscht, made with beetroot, cabbage, potatoes, carrots, onions, and often meat, creating the rich, ruby color for which the soup is known. It is traditionally served with sour cream and fresh dill. But Ukrainians eat borscht year-round. In summer, many enjoy a cold beetroot soup, known as cold borscht, while others prefer okroshka, a refreshing chilled soup made with cucumbers, radishes, eggs, herbs, and a fermented dairy drink. Ask 10 Ukrainians for a Borsch recipe and you'll likely get 10 different answers. And that may be exactly the point.
Okay, so we talked about borscht, but of course there are different borsches, and I there is Polish soup. We call it Polish soup. I don't know whether you have the same as well, as with cabbage, peas,
Yeah.
and chopped up boiled egg, and also sour cream. Okroshka, of course, which was mentioned. But
Зеленый борщ.
Zielony borsch, yeah, I
Yeah.
grow sorrel, especially for zielony borsch. I have
Yeah.
a whole plantation. If you want some, I'll bring you plants.
Thank you.
What I want to say, that the whole idea of having pieces of meat and vegetables in the soup floating rather than blended together. So I think for British it's more common to have pureed
Yes.
soup. So what do you think about pureed soups? How do you like them or not like them? Because there are quite a lot of good varieties here.
I like it. My favorite is with broccoli.
All right. So broccoli and Stilton or just broccoli?
Кабачок.
With courgette.
Courgette, broccoli, yes, really tasty with black pepper and egg. Super tasty.
And you blend it with egg?
No,
Or-
egg, you chop the egg.
You chop egg and put it on the top.
Puree.
Yeah, my favorite soup is pea soup. So it's very simple, that simple. So you chop up onion, slightly fry it, add peas, half a kilo of peas, then water. You can add vegetable stock, boil it together, add peppermint, and then blend it together.
Really?
Yeah, you don't need to add double cream or anything to make it sort of richer. You can if you want, but it's delicious on its own. It has very bright, vibrant color as well with a piece of good bread. It's really nice. So I do like it, but I know not everyone or all Ukrainians can accept the idea of having pureed soups. And also, I think my Ukrainian friends, not Ukrainian, British friends, find it's really strange. Not having chopped up vegetables, that can be accepted, but having cooked, boiled egg chopped up in your soup is
Really?
like, for Polish it's okay, and British is like, what's that?
No,
Why
I
did you
love
put egg
it.
in my soup?
Why? It's tasty.
Yeah, so that can be a bit strange.
So my favorite delicious thing which you can eat with a soup or with a borscht, it's a pampushka с чесником. It's a special bread, like
So it's like bread dough balls, but quite big ones.
yeah, and
Soaked in garlic with butter.
yes. And today my son will have to do it at school.
Oh,
He
right.
asked me. I was thinking like they messaged me that they need to have something from home which will they use to produce the bread, and I was like, oh, what I should do? I don't have anything. And he come up and says like, I want to make pampushka with chestnut. I was like, wow, that's so cool.
Do you bake a lot?
No, I'm not really good at it, but you know, like Palianytsia and
Just Palianytsia is a Ukrainian word for bread.
yeah, special bread.
Special bread, yeah.
It's like a traditional bread for big rituals, like
Yeah, it's
wedding
usually round
and
and
beautifully.
decorated beautifully as well. Yeah.
Maybe shall we listen about it?
Yes, let's do it.
Palianytsia is one of Ukraine's oldest symbols of home and hospitality. Made from wheat flour, it has a soft, airy texture and a golden crust. For centuries, Ukrainian families baked Palianytsia for holidays, family gatherings, and important guests. Visitors were welcomed with bread and salt, presented on an embroidered cloth called a rushnik. The guest would break off a piece of bread, dip it in salt, and eat it as a sign of friendship and respect. In Ukrainian folklore, Palianytsia was believed to protect the home. Its round shape and golden colour echoed the sun, a symbol of life, warmth, and prosperity. In 2022, Palianytsia gained a new meaning. Because many native Russian speakers struggle to pronounce the word correctly, it became an informal password used to distinguish friend from foe. So here's a challenge. Can you say Palianytsia?
Interestingly enough, I told you that my grandma loved cooking and she was the main cook in the family and she loved baking. And she always had, I will never forget, and the pancakes we had very often, and she had a mixing bowl with a special mix for pancakes. And it was going all the time. So it was like we would call sourdough pancakes now. So they were sour. They were not sweet pancakes. And then when she wanted to make pancakes quickly, she would add flour and milk mixed together, cook, and leave some for the next time,
Really?
Yeah. But she baked, she loved baking. She baked cakes, she baked all sorts of different pastries and so
Favorite cake?
Well, my favorite cake is actually my mom's one, Napoleon, because she baked
too,
it
I love
really
Napoleon.
beautifully. Yeah. But my grandma could never bake bread. She didn't know how to bake bread.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I learned to bake bread when I came to this country. Not because I couldn't buy bread here. Of course I can. And yes, nice bread can be quite pricey. So quite often we try and buy sourdough bread, which can be £5 or £4.60 and so on. But I learned to bake here bread from scratch without yeast as well, making my own starter for sourdough and so on. Unfortunately, I don't have time now for this, but I really miss this time. And if you will dedicate a day of, making beautiful bread with lots of flavors. And I would add, like in spring, I would mix wild garlic, collect wild garlic, mix it with butter and add it to bread. So it oozes out when you slice bread after it's been baked. So I did, I think there is something about baking and cooking, and we talked about Easter and the special tradition of making
like my mom
Easter
says,
bread.
you have to be quiet because the jester
Is rising. You shouldn't scare it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's. I think we need to talk about bread and cakes and everything what baking process produced from Ukrainian family. I think it's really interesting.
Shall we find out about how many varieties of bread you can see when you walk into a Ukrainian shop?
Walk into a Ukrainian bakery and you'll discover an entire world of pastries. First come the pyroshki, soft baked buns filled with almost anything imaginable. Sweet cherries, apples and poppy seeds, or savoury cabbage, potatoes, mushrooms and meat. Then there are the famous poppy seed rolls. Unlike in Britain, where poppy seeds are often just a topping, Ukrainian bakers pack their rolls with thick, rich poppy seed filling. Next come the cakes. Almost every Ukrainian city has its own bakery and its own beloved desserts. Honey cake, Napoleon cake, and colourful jelly cakes have been family favourites for generations. And finally, the pastries of childhood. Crispy, cream-filled pastry horns, mushroom-shaped biscuits, and nuts, delicate cookies filled with sweet caramelised condensed milk. Many Ukrainians still remember their mothers and grandmothers baking birthday cakes at home, often using recipes passed down through generations. In Ukraine, baking isn't just about dessert. It's about family, celebration, and creating memories around the table.
You know which bread is my favorite? Varenyky.
Oh, really?
I love, and my older daughter, she loves when I go to Ukraine, she always says, "Mom, can you bring some Varenyky chleb?"
My favorite
is rich and black.
A regular round bread.
Ukrainsky?
Ukrainian.
Oh.
I don't know, like in Sumy, we have our own bakery. And it's always warm. And my mom, she was so angry because I eat whole thing.
On the outside, the crust, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, and it's crunchy, so good, isn't it?
And it's warm, and it smells so good. It just gives me this vibe of my native town and Ukraine and home.
Do you make pies? Pyrashki. Pyrishki.
Yeah, pyrishki, yes.
What is your favorite filling? What's traditional filling in your family? Because every family has their own filling.
Mug.
Oh, with poppy seeds.
Yes.
So you like sweet variety.
Yeah, of course.
And then you mix it with honey and nuts, or how?
No, it's just poppy seed with sugar.
With sugar?
And my mom always did it in the shape of a rose.
All right.
Yeah, and sometimes when poppy seed is finished, she makes same shape but with cinnamon. And I just like, who can eat it? And now, I can't, because I couldn't
cinnamon
found,
rolls, yeah, cinnamon
I couldn't
flowers.
found poppy seed thing here. So
everywhere in every shop you can buy.
No, it's not that.
Because you need to soak them in boiling water, and then you need to blend them.
Yeah, and also it's not, like sometimes you could be really disappointed if you buy this like a roulette.
poppy seed roll.
Poppy seed roll in Ukraine, and there is not enough poppy seed,
Yeah,
and you feel
yeah.
like, so this is happening here. It's always not enough. It's just like such a small amount, so you can't even taste it properly. So I buy the cinnamon bun, and I feel like, oh, it's almost like at my mom's house. So what about meat?
Oh, meat. I guess very traditional meat for Ukraine is pork.
You know that I did first cook first meal for our hosts here in UK. I make our отбивные,
Биточки, so the flattened meat.
flattened meat with egg.
Okay.
And
Do you add onions and garlic?
no,
Because I have a few recipes. So I have a recipe for chicken.
a simple one.
Simple one where
Yeah.
you slice chicken
Yeah.
breast, flatten, add a
Yeah.
bit of salt, pepper, maybe some herbs,
Yeah,
and put it in flour, then egg, and
then-
fry
yeah.
in a bit of oil.
And my hosts love it so much, so they asked me for whole week to cook it.
All right.
No, not ask. They didn't push me. Just like,
Yeah.
to have a little bit more. It was so tasty.
All
I'm
right.
like, nice. I think it's similar to how it's called, chicken nuggets,
I
something.
guess, but yeah, I think it's slightly different as well. But you know, if I use different meat, for example, pork or veal
Mhm.
or beef not that often, I also add chopped up. So when I flatten the meat, I add chopped up garlic and
Mhm.
onions. And then flatten again, so just to squash it a bit. And then I also dip it, but I don't dip it in flour and beaten eggs. I make a special mix, which is like kefir
Mhm.
with a bit of flour, a bit of salt, an egg, and then I dip it and fry, and it's like in batter, you
Yeah.
know. And it's really nice. And also you add a bit of vinegar as well, so just to give it.
I really
Yeah.
want to try it. Let's listen
Shall we give a
about
few? Yeah, shall we give a few nice recipes of meat dishes, especially
By
bitoshki?
Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Breakfast is called snidanok. The word comes from sni, to meet or to come together, meaning the first meal that begins the day. Lunch is obid. The word is related to an old Slavic root meaning around the middle of the day, when families would gather for the main meal. Dinner is večeria, simply meaning the evening meal, from the same root as the word večer, evening. English tells a slightly different story. Breakfast literally means breaking the fast after a night's sleep. Lunch evolved from a small snack or light meal, while dinner originally referred to the main meal of the day, regardless of the time it was eaten. In both languages, the names reveal what mattered most: gathering together, sharing food, and marking the rhythm of everyday life.
Oh, that was so tasty.
Yeah. You know that chicken was difficult to get hold of in Soviet times? You know, the
Oh,
chicken
really?
which is everywhere now, and people are like, oh, not chicken again, not chicken again. I'll be having chicken for dinner again. It was really difficult to get hold of.
Really?
And when I was a child, you know, I was born 1981, so when I was a child, the chicken was bought, especially for my birthday, in December, and that was the best. It was roast chicken, which I absolutely adored. And I only ate at that time only breast meat. I didn't like legs or anything like this. And it just was the paradise for me. So the roast chicken, but we had it only, I don't know, a few times a year.
Yeah, that's true. What else? Maybe like potato, a lot of potato, different
Oh,
types
yeah,
of
that-
potato.
That's right, because there is Ukrainian. If you go, I remember McDonald's in Ukraine when they opened few more. Well, first McDonald's and then later on. So there was an option of sort of Ukrainian potatoes. I'm not sure whether it's still available. Where there was a slightly different sort of, they sprinkle with something, some special mix, and
Yeah.
sometimes you could have onions added.
Yeah.
Because you know it's traditional to fry eggs, not eggs. Of course, eggs is traditional to fry as well, but potatoes and then add in onions that gives sweetness, lovely
Yeah.
sweetness to it.
Гречка.
Buckwheat. I must tell you this story. I know you're probably fed up with my food stories because you're starving and you want to go and eat the last one. So buckwheat. We love buckwheat, everyone in our household, but we also make buckwheat soup, which is vegetarian option or vegan actually option. And you know, you can put any grains, but we make it with buckwheat. And so when I was a child, my sister and I were asked to make soup for lunch because everyone was working in the garden, and they said, could you please cook for us so we can have lunch together? So we went and we started cooking the soup. So we took a saucepan, large saucepan, put water there, added like peeled potatoes, put potatoes, you know, fried onions. Everything was going smoothly. We remembered the recipe. And then when we came to add in buckwheat, the recipe said 2 spoons. And my sister and I thought, such a large saucepan. Well, it can't be 2 or 3 spoons. It must be cups. Definitely cups. So what we did, instead of putting 2 tablespoons or 3 tablespoons, because it enlarges a lot, we put 2 cups. Put it, mixed it, looked gorgeous, put the lid on. When the family came to eat, they were like,
Where's
that?
the soup?
What's that? It's not a soup. And basically, I can't even remember whether they ate it as a sort of type of porridge, or I don't know how you can describe it, because it was like really thick, or they refused to eat at all. But every time I make soup, I always remember this story, and it's so funny, things you do when you're a child.
It's interesting that I remember when I was little, maybe 4 or 5 years old, I found out this. There was a lot of flowers on just streets, to make beautiful, nice view. And one of them, it was, I don't know the name, it was like a dark red, and it gives this kind of shape, and it have like a fluffy hair, really.
Okay.
And I remember that.
Le malva, yeah?
Yeah, I will show it. I don't know the name. And then I saw one old lady at the late summertime. She took like a bag and took the seeds from these flowers. And there's a lot of seeds like that. And I remember,
How can you take seeds from the flowers?
just like from mug, like a
But
poppy
that's-
seed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not from flowers when they.
It looks like a flower.
It looks like a flower, but it's
Yeah.
actually seeds, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember that I talked to my grandmother and asked what she did, and she says, like, this is the special kasha.
Or like kasha, yeah.
Yeah,
porridge
from
kind
these
of thing.
flowers, and it's like, and I don't remember. Did I ask about the taste? Is it salty or it's sweet? But then when I found out that my son have gluten intolerance, and they prescribe him to eat instead of rice, quinoa.
Yeah.
That's flour.
That's
Is
quinoa.
quinoa.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Imagine.
Shall we show a picture to the people
Yes.
so they know how it looks like?
And it's interesting that somebody told me that that's one of the kashas which people usually eat in our area, like perlovka.
Barley.
Some not I don't like it, but it's.
I
like,
didn't like as a child, but I like barley here. If
Oh,
you cook
really?
it nicely with chopped up marinated lemons, really delicious.
Mhm.
And stuffed mushrooms with them.
Nice.
Well, actually, and we use lots of vegetables. We use mushrooms. We have lots of wild mushrooms, mushroom sauce. I made recently very simple mushroom sauce, chopped up mushrooms, onions, and some double cream. And people were like, can we have more? Can we have more? Is there anywhere more left? Children, anyone. But we also use vegetables, seasonal vegetables all the time with pancakes. You can make them out of courgette. I love courgette pancakes. Basically you can see recipe on the screen now. So you grate your courgette, add a bit of milk, not milk, don't listen to me. Add a bit of flour, salt, pepper, whatever spices you like. And you fry them, and they're crunchy, they're delicious. You can make them almost of anything. I mean, those pancakes, potato pancakes, syrnyky.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. It's my favorite thing in the world.
And for the snidanek, for the breakfast in UK, you can have a draniki.
Well, interestingly enough, when I went to Ukraine recently, we in Lviv. Me and other drivers went to find a nice place to have dinner, and I was really, really hungry, and I was like, boys, come on, we need to eat quickly, I'm starving. So they were like, okay, let's go to this restaurant, and I'm looking at the menu, and it says картопляні трикутники, so potato triangles, and I'm like, I've never had картопляні трикутники, I'm going to order that. And there was some meat as well. And I was really disappointed when I saw our British I like hash browns. They're called hash browns. But I didn't. For me, they are sort of like fast food option, not a restaurant food. And they brought me 2 hash browns and a piece of meat. I was so hungry, so I had to take something from every plate of the rest of the guys, because they were like, Zhenya, take anything you want. You're starving. We can see it on your face. But yeah,
it's interesting. You told me that there is a special meaning of breakfast.
Yeah, and I think actually the difference in tradition might come like what we eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, from where those words came from. And I think you will be surprised to find out what breakfast means, what lunch, and dinner. And I think we covered it in one of the programs that evening meal can be called dinner or supper or tea, depending on the area, whether it's up north or in the Midlands and so on. So, but also I would like us to look into Ukrainian words. So snidanek is breakfast, so what it means, and then obid, which is lunch, and večerя, which is dinner. Shall we find out those words mean?
Ukrainian cuisine is rich in meat, poultry, and fish, with dishes shaped by the rivers, forests, and farmlands of the country. Near rivers and the Black Sea, fish is a favorite. Fried carp, baked pike, smoked mackerel, and dried fish are all popular, especially as snacks shared with friends. Across most of Ukraine, pork is king. Juicy pork chops, slow-cooked goulash with rich gravy, stuffed peppers, cabbage rolls known as halupsai, and summer shashlik cooked over charcoal are staples of family cooking. Poultry is just as popular. Roast chicken with crispy golden skin, baked duck, and rich homemade chicken broth regularly appear on Ukrainian tables. And no conversation about Ukrainian food would be complete without salo, cured pork fat, traditionally served with dark bread, garlic, and pickles. Before refrigeration, families salted, smoked, and dried meat and fish, preserving food and making homemade sausages for the winter. With such a variety of flavors, textures, and traditions, Ukrainian cuisine offers something for everyone, from simple comfort food to dishes that can satisfy even the most demanding foodie.
Well, I guess it explains it, right?
Yep.
So now we know why we eat slightly differently, but everyone loves great, delicious food, and I think it's time for our lunch, isn't it?
Thank you for watching. If you like our podcast, please like, share, comments, and see you next time.
Yes, and try to cook something from using those recipes that we gave you today. Send us pictures. Bye.
Bye.